John, so good to see you. Today, we're going to talk through why wealth transfers fail and the conversation every family should have this holiday season. The holidays bring families together, multiple generations under one roof to connect and to look ahead, which is why it's also a great time to talk about family finances and the legacy you want to leave behind. And this is so important, John, because surprisingly enough, 60% of wealth transfers fall apart because of a lack of communication and trust. Why is it so hard for families to have these conversations?
Well, I think it's a hard, especially nowadays. I feel like there's a lot more blended families,
Hmm.
so they're being careful not to offend somebody or make somebody they think they're favoring one child or the other. And then sometimes just paralyzed because sometimes some people don't understand their finances themselves. So they have a hard time articulating to their kids exactly what they have and what they don't have.
Hmm. So, why might the holidays actually be the best time to have this conversation?
Well, as long as you keep it light, I think it can be a nice opportunity where you have everybody around and maybe just have that conversation with people. Maybe you have a child who you have on as like a power of attorney or something like that, and they don't really want to do it. And maybe
Yeah.
another child is a better option. So just one of those things where you have that conversation and again keep it light. But I think it can be a very positive time to be able to kind of go over some of that
Right,
stuff.
right. And you have some suggestions when it comes to what information parents or grandparents should be sharing with their adult children, how you pay your bills, where your income comes from, especially if you're retired, and your team of professionals, and of course, how to reach them.
Yeah, that's very important. You got to think, at any given point, somebody could be in the wrong car at the wrong time. Perhaps someone has a stroke. What you don't want to do is make sure somebody's on top of being able to pay your bills if you need to, making sure they know if you have a mortgage or whatever your insurance, all those type of things. That there's a little bit of a plan in place if those type of
Right,
issues were to pop up.
right. And you touched on power of attorney, but what are the most important legal documents every family should review together?
Well, those should be reviewed on a regular basis with your attorney. But where we find it's very important to have that medical power of attorney and that financial power of attorney in place, so that way, if someone did happen, like I said, that there's a child that could come in, step in, and sign for the various bills, or help keep things afloat while you're recovering, perhaps from, like I said, from a stroke or an accident, those type of things. But again, you can kind of keep this stuff pretty light during the holidays, and you don't have to get too in depth, but you just want to get some of these things checked off the list.
Yeah, get the ball rolling. So, John, do you have any advice then for how families can keep these talks positive instead of uncomfortable?
Yes, I think you kind of have fun with it a little bit, and I'm sure that everybody has that member that's going to throw a few jokes in there. But
Yeah.
really, what it comes down to is you don't have to go into the numbers. So a lot of times the hesitation there is, I don't want my kids to know everything I have. But you can have a general conversation. Hey, Susie, I really feel like you'd be really good at handling the healthcare power of attorney because you're local, and are you willing to do that? Those type of things, or are you uncomfortable doing that? You
Hmm.
just want to have those nice conversations with them, keep it light, and then really you kind of build off of that.
Right. And sometimes it helps to sit down and have this conversation with an advisor like you, John, somebody who's kind of not emotionally involved in the finances. So if somebody would like your help, again, just starting, getting the ball rolling with this conversation, what's the best way to reach you?
440-471-4300 is a great way to get a hold of us. And we try to keep this stuff light, although I got to say we're probably a little more vested than we like to think we're a little bit more vested than others, and that we really care about the people we deal with. And we just really want to make sure these things are buttoned up and put into place so that way when things do happen, you're not having to come from behind and try to figure this
Right.
stuff on the fly.
Right. Well said. John, thank you so much.
Happy holidays. Take care.